You know that feeling, right? You get this amazing cinematic idea that just flashes into your mind. It's perfect, a stunning effect, a mood you can practically taste. And then you sit down at the computer, and that pure, brilliant vision just dies. It gets totally bogged down in this swamp of keyframes and node graphs and a million technical settings. The how just crushes the what. But what if you could just get rid of all that friction? What if you could create based on pure vision, not some tedious step-by-step process? Well, that's the core idea we're diving into today, a concept called vibe editing. All right, so let's get right into it. What exactly is vibe editing? Here's the big idea. It's an intent-driven workflow. That means instead of telling the software how to do every single little thing, you just tell it what you want to happen. You just state your creative intent, and an AI system figures out all the complicated stuff for you. Now, to really wrap your head around this, think about something called vibe coding that's already happening. A programmer can just say, make this function run faster, and an AI literally rewrites the code. Vibe editing is the exact same idea, but for visuals. You say, make this shot feel more cinematic, and the AI starts adjusting the color, the motion, the whole feel of it. And this right here is a total game changer. It means we can finally shift our focus away from the tools and onto our actual intent. I mean, just think about the old way. To get one single effect done, you have to slog through this painful checklist, right? Manual masking, motion tracking, color correction. It's a technical grind that can completely kill your creative spark. But with vibe editing, that entire complex headache of a process gets replaced by a single, simple sentence. You just describe the final look you're going for, and the system handles all those steps in the background. It's that simple. So what does this new world actually feel like for a creator? How does your day-to-day work actually change? Well, it completely changes the questions you ask yourself. Your thinking shifts from the how to the why. Instead of wondering, which effect should I use, you start asking, what emotion do I want the audience to feel? You stop being a software operator and you start being a true director of story and feeling. And look, this naturally means that some skills are just not going to be as important anymore. All those tedious, repetitive tasks like manual rotoscoping or knowing every single menu in a piece of software. That stuff becomes way less critical because, well, the AI can just do it. But in their place, a whole new set of skills becomes incredibly valuable. Your unique visual taste, your gut feeling for story, your ability to direct the AI with clear prompts, and just the sheer speed at which you can try out new ideas. These become the new currency for creatives. I love this quote because it sums it up perfectly. All that time and energy we used to spend on the technical nuts and bolts, that now moves upstream. It goes back to the most important parts, the core idea, the story, and the emotion you're trying to create. Okay, so we've talked about the individual creator, but let's zoom out because a change this big is going to shake up the entire industry. Now, you might be thinking, are tools like Blender and Premiere just gone? And the answer is no, not at all. Their role just changes. They kind of fade into the background, becoming almost invisible. They become these incredibly powerful execution engines. They're the how, working under the hood, taking your creative what and turning it into reality, all without you ever having to touch a timeline or a node graph, unless you really want to. And the economic impact? Whoa, it's staggering. The cost of creating professional-looking visuals just collapses. Things that used to take a huge team and a massive budget can now be done by one person with a great idea. But honestly, beyond the tools and the money, this leads to something even bigger, something much more profound. It's about what happens to our own minds when these technical barriers just vanish. Think about it. We all do this. We subconsciously kill our coolest ideas because we think, that would be way too hard to actually make. We have this built-in governor on our imagination. With vibe editing, that governor is just gone. You can truly think what if without ever worrying about the how. And that really boils everything down to this one powerful idea. The very act of creating something stops being about your ability to execute a series of steps and starts being about the clarity and the quality of your intention. So we're left with a whole new hierarchy of value. First up, your taste is more important than your technique. Because when anyone can create anything, what you choose to create becomes everything. Second, your vision is way more important than the tools you use. Your unique perspective, the story only you can tell, that's what matters now, not which software you've mastered. And finally, the big one. Intent is more important than process. The why behind what you're making is elevated far above the how you're making it. That's the fundamental truth of this new world. But all of this, it leaves us with one last massive question. If creating is basically having a conversation with an AI, who designs the language for that conversation? Who builds the AI models that understand our intent? And ultimately, who gets to control the new language of our imagination?